Well, this is Mia. Some people can call me Creasesinger. I'm also pastor. Pastor Mia is fine, but whatever anybody feels comfortable with. I'm having a huge laugh in myself because I just spent the last 10 minutes going on about something. I'm thinking, this is great. I got this recorded. I'm good to go. But guess what? No, I sure didn't. I needed to hit that record button. And, I noticed, I'm like, why isn't the time ticking upward? Oh, because, user error. Speaking of users, I know that my microphone at this point I'm using a very bad microphone. I have to turn off all appliances and everything in order to cut down on sound. I am going to get another microphone, but I'm not going to let that stop me. My camera equipment also is not pro grade, obviously, but for now, it's a beginning, and I do have a question for tech heads out there. If any of you know how or where, I use Streamlabs. I downloaded Streamlabs to do live YouTube, and it says I can copy a code from YouTube, but I don't know where to paste it in Streamlabs. I've done a little searching, so I'll do a little more, but I'm just putting this out there. If anybody has like some great epiphany for me, it'd be helpful. I have many other things that I need to attend to all the time, so if there's a tech trick that I'm missing. No, you can't just do a live stream. YouTube does require you to have something for encoding, and I need that also because will be using external mics and other kind of things. So if you're out there and let me know. Contact information is in the description page. You can also Twitter me at, my handle is Creasesinger, Crease Singer. So those of you who don't know what a crease is, there's many versions there's many terms that could be thought of when you say the word crease, like a crease in the book. But those of you who know anything about me, I'm a natural-born goalie. Played goalie in several sports with both men and women, and I know a lot about the position. And since I'm an ice hockey lover and student of the game, that's the position I know best. And I do, on the side, sometimes give mental tips and other kinds of tips to goalies, sometimes for pay. I try to help young goalies whose parents really don't have a lot of money off ice, pro bono, for free when I can, which is very difficult at this point because I'm this close to being homeless pretty much all the time. So, but there are some topics that I'd like suggestions. Obviously, ice hockey, mostly men's. I'm most familiar with men's, but maybe somebody can school me in any other kind of ice hockey. Pro and semi-pro. I've been doing some studying and researching about the KHL and the Liederstein, and I'm getting to the European stuff. It's just taking me forever, and I didn't have internet for several years, so it's slow going. I also have a blog website, singingfromthecrease.wordpress.com. Basically, if you just put Singing from the Crease in on any website, I have a web, on any search engines, I have a web presence, so it pretty much will lead you right to me. This is not some new name I came up with or some new persona or any other kind of thing. I've been at this for many years. But there are some things that have happened And what I am interested in, and I've spent a good bit of time listening to other people's stories on YouTube and reading some books and watching some documentaries and some other things. And so I am very interested in those who have stories that would lean toward the fringe, toward maybe parapsychology, the supernatural, things like that. I myself have had some experiences that I'm an empirical thinking, scientific-minded individual, and I can assure you, I mean, every step of the way, I did everything I could to debunk. Everything. Every single thing that I could think to do scientifically, physically, mentally, to debunk what I saw, what I felt, not possible. Just not. And, so there's another explanation rather than basic physics, of a supernatural nature. So I'll get into that as we go on. I'm hoping to do basically just live shows, but I just wanted to introduce myself and always looking for topics of conversation. Some that could be the American healthcare system. I could go on for hours and hours and hours and looking for your experiences. And I'm hoping that as we go, maybe some shared shortcuts and some shared information to help people through the mess of administration you have to go to. It's very difficult. There are some people in other countries who, they don't really get it and they don't really understand. You're not guaranteed health in the United States of America. You are not guaranteed health. What you're guaranteed is you will pay taxes. Okay? As for healthcare, you can get a cold and, try and work it out for yourself. Why? Because health insurance isn't going to cover this or cover that. The people call it Obamacare, the Affordable Health Care Act, basically just confused everyone on every level. I cannot begin to tell you how many people are walking around confused, and mostly doctors and nurses and insurance companies even still, the rules and regs and what's not, and trying to disseminate that information to, millions of Americans is, that could have been done far, far better. I mean, I'm not saying anything's going to be perfect, but I'm pretty much going through hell. And one day, if I live long enough, I can assure you, I will be standing in front of politicians, and they will listen to me. So, I have done that before. So this is not some, wild hair up my ass kind of thing. I've been in front of politicians. I was a government contractor. I've taken part in, talking groups and shaping some things that many people don't even realize was a thought in someone's head many years before it became what they say manifest, before it became reality. So, I'm not really talking out my butt. It's just ridiculous. But anybody wants to talk about that. If you have any strange, abnormal, exorcism, ghost hunting, and that's my point. Here I'm issuing a severe and strong warning. Any of you who are paranormal investigating, okay? There are things going on far beyond your comprehension. And if people are going to continue to paranormal investigate, my suggestion is we all do it together as one unified team. because what you're thinking and looking at doesn't work like humans. You can't anthropomorphize this, okay? There could be a disturbance in Kansas City at the exact same time on Earth that there's a disturbance in Tanzania. You understand? A complete different continent. At the exact same time, their ways of movement are nothing that humans really can comprehend, and many have been a bit misled, and I've found that numerous times. And here's one. He's pretty popular, and he's more than welcome. He himself, Zach Bagans, is more than welcome. Not some Zach Bagans fan or his mom, Zach Bagans himself. The rest of you, I just appreciate. I am putting out my perspective as well. One of the reasons that the scientific community is just not going to listen to certain paranormal researchers or investigators, no matter how long you've been in the business, is the way that you run your investigation. One of the first things, if I were to try and debunk Zach Bagans, one of the first things I would come at Zach and his crew with is, have you ever heard of expectation bias? In other words, the human brain, which is beautifully and wonderfully made, it's amazing. I am all about this in here. This is our central processing unit, and it's beautiful. You understand? I am one of those kind of people. We have a tendency to try and figure things out that make sense to us in a human way. You understand? Human words and vowels and syllables, and also in English. If you're in America or England or an English-speaking majority English country speaking, whatever, somebody, you know what I mean. But the thing about Zach is, I've seen many of his shows, and I'm not discounting some things, because trust me, I myself, yikes. Yes, I've had some serious supernatural activity, and I've seen some things that most of you would just absolutely tell me I'm a complete nutbag who took too much LSD. And see, no, no LSD, no. Okay, can't have that. That's not applicable to me. Okay? So, Zach, when they listen to the audio, after they've done the investigation, and especially, they're listening to, the EVPs and all that. One of the situations that happens with the human brain, and, Zach is more than welcome to talk to some specialist neurologists and audiologists and people who know what the human brain is capable of. What I mean by expectation bias is, they're not independently sending that to a lab to have someone listen to it independently. The EVPs are listened to by Zach and his crew. And so, there may be someone named Jimmy, Jimmi, who was an integral part of some story that had to do with the location or person that they're investigating. Now, when you listen to the EVPs back again, okay, let me demonstrate. Hey. You understand? It all sounds about the same, but I said 3 completely different ones. And of course, if you're doing an investigation, the expectation bias leans toward, they said Jimmy. Also, with spirit boxes, trust me, there's some validity in these things. I'm not trying to say that there isn't all sorts of things that we we humans can't explain, but most of the time, the reason we can't explain it is because we keep trying to think like humans. We keep trying to anthropomorphize. We anthropomorphize angels. We do it with animals. And, you know, in the case of animals, it's one thing. I mean, Jane Goodall did it, but that helps humans understand better. In this case, however, no. So there's not a human explanation. A lot of people on these paranormal shows that Dead Files, why, when they interview them, as why would anyone, why? What, I'm sure that whatever the entity is has its reasons, and it sure as heck does not need to explain to you in human terms. This is my biggest point. You're not using your spiritual minds properly when you think about this, or you don't have one, which would be a serious situation for you. You have to understand that you could be listening to something from a whole other time and place. You could be listening to something, that entity could be talking to you in Milwaukee, you understand, but actually be located in South America. See, the way that the communication happens, it's very, very different from what humans. It's not like using a phone. Humans, unfortunately, keep their construct in their minds. Zach does it, and so do many others. Now, I actually wrote a letter to the original Ghost Hunters taps when they were together doing plumbing, and then because I've been asked to do some researching and some investigations before, because I had this very interesting, empathetic, somewhat, I hesitate to use the word clairvoyant, but I'm extraordinarily sensitive to energy of all varieties. So, for the Christians, leave with Satan, whoa, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, me and Lucifer hang out on Fridays, okay? I know the Bible as well as you do, okay? I also know Revelation, and Revelation is something that I like to point out to every single one of them who does paranormal investigating, because if you really spend time absorbing Revelation in Holy Scripture, which is in the New Testament at the very end, okay, just let it marinate. I'm just saying, read it all the way through, and you'll be like, what, the beast? And then it does seem to happen, but it doesn't happen again. You don't have to understand it. I'm not asking you to understand it. What I'm asking you is just read it and let it marinate in there, in your soul, you understand? Let it marinate. And slowly but surely, you'll start realizing why some of the events on Earth, okay, that are happening now, and why some of this is ramping up. Activity is ramping up all over the place. Nick, who used to work with Zach, and I'm blanking on his last name. I saw him do a documentary, or he did it kind of like a live show with the Shepherdtown and all the paranormal activity that's going on there. And he kept saying, well, why is all this? Well, the answer to the question why is in Revelation. Sometimes God's will. Sometimes, paranormal investigators may actually be impeding God, angels, the spiritual positive, the whole, the good whole, the three who is one, the one who is three. We need to be extraordinarily careful, and I prefer that we have our own union, so that we can not only compare notes, but also so that some of us who think spiritually and who think in terms of, there's angels and there's subclasses of angels, and these behaviors are very different. So it's not just, angels. And then there's this, some of them trying to steal souls, some of them, maybe trying to get in, to use a body, or to be controlled. And, I've seen some people who do this really well, people who are highly manipulative. Some of them are mentalists, and they're very good at it. Some of them are, well-trained in reading body movements and motions. Some are, entities, real entities that we don't necessarily perceive with our human eyes. However, if you tune yourself into the spiritual, and you tune and you tune and you tune and you just tune into, the more you go, and I found this to be true, the more you start understanding and learning how to discern. Tricky and could prove deadly. So I realized that, the consequence of me doing such could be death. That I understand, but I don't think that many others do. I don't think when you're collecting EVPs and you're doing all this, I don't think that the real, true realization, I don't know if anyone's told you point blank, death is real. And it could happen to you in your journey on doing these kind of things. And you have to understand, and you have to take that into consideration. Sometimes your loved ones can be attacked. Some are far more intelligent, some are not. Some are almost robotic, and they behave the same. So over the years, paranormal investigators, parapsychologists have really done a good job, at least identifying some patterns. So I hesitate to use the word ghosts as well, because there's so many different classifications of what in spirit could be happening. But my warning is, I really, really, really prefer that all those who are paranormal investigators very much know that you are anchored in Christ without any doubt. Some of us who are, some of us are clergy, some of us are not, but who are sealed in with God. Now, trust me, I can assure you, you know when you're sealed in with God. Other, clergy, if you were to ask them, you say, what does that mean? You can check with clergy. Catholic priests particularly, but there are some other who know what I mean when I say sealed in with God. As for the wiccans and the witches, sometimes over the years, what I've discovered and what's become more and more clear is, you can sage and you can clear it out, but it comes back. Saging is in and of itself not really helpful. It also can agitate the situation. Now, if you're prepared and you're ready for whatever you're dealing with, or whoever, whichever, to be agitated, that's fine. But more often than not, wiccans and witches, your issues don't disappear. They don't go away. They also will change form on you. So all I'm going to say there is, at the very least, any practicing witch or wiccan or wizard, whatever you like to call yourself, you got to know the rules. You have rules. Yes, you do. And whatever you do will come back at you. Okay? So it's another reason you don't ever really want to be wishing anyone dead. And you certainly don't want to be using blood magic, because no one's ever successfully gotten around that one. There's no loopholes there. But in terms of clearing and cleaning, the first thing you should do, whether you are solitary or in a coven or whatever, protection, right? So, I mean, if you're not going to, acknowledge the Holy Lord Jesus Christ, at the very least, please. I mean, I prefer that you do. I did, and I mean, I'm still alive, I'm still alive, I'm still here. He knows, a natural born, is what I'm saying. And once I started realizing, oh, wow, there's some things that, could come back or be an issue, you're also taking away someone's free will if you love spells and manipulations. So you really have to be careful what you're doing. I'm not going to tell you any other thing, and I'm not going to call you names, and I'm not going to judge you. I'm simply saying I wish all of you would be a bit more careful. And if at any point in time you feel as though you can't clean up your own mess, or you've gotten in way above your head, always remember the name Jesus. That's it. But cleaning and clearing, when it comes to that, now also there's 4 stages. If you're going to be dealing with a demonic situation, it's infestation, and that usually is around the house, items, objects, things like that. Once that progresses, and if there's no action taken against it, or intercession, then you have, oh geez, I want to say obsession, but obsession isn't the third. This obsession is the third one. Oppression. That's where your mind and spirit, you have something, it seems like something else is making decisions for you. It seems like you're changing. It seems like thoughts that you wouldn't have normally had, you're starting to have. Things, you're starting to, enjoy the dark side a little. Oh, well, that guy deserved to get, you're feeling a little lusty and fleshy. Things that just aren't you. And they usually start feeling more carnal, whatever the case may be. And then there's obsession. And at that stage, the individual will spend most of their time, ignoring the rest of the world. Parents, everybody seems disattached, isolates them, because they want to spend more and more time with whatever it is that is taking their life over. And then there's full-blown possession. So me, I will ask questions in quick succession. I don't necessarily need all sorts of evidence the way the Catholic Church does to perform an exorcism, because sometimes it's like you walk to a situation and you're just like, okay, we got to get tactical right now. I mean, you don't have a choice. You want to live, you want to die. It's up to you. Because, you go any further, you're going to, your body's just going to be the host to something that doesn't give a crap about anything. Definitely. Not humans, not how you feel, not any other kind of thing. So, that was my main reason for getting online today, besides testing out my equipment, was to just honestly say those things. Like I said, any paranormal investigator who wants to contact me or has comments, or anyone, regarding these things, I'm always willing to listen. I'm not, necessarily set on, oh, you're doing it wrong. I feel it in my spirit. And sometimes I see it as though a vision. I don't see good things when I look at people who do this. I see many bad things. And unfortunately, over the past 10 years, a few of the things that the Holy Spirit, in terms of God, and I'm not calling myself any other thing other than, it's called foresight, kingdom of heaven speak. Okay, but some of you, it's precognitive, it's psychic, I don't know, whatever. It's just, I'm worried about paranormal investigators, especially those teenagers and kids that they just get in the car and they don't understand. And I mean, an attachment can last for years and years and years, your whole lifetime. These these things can go dormant on you, and you find, oh yay, the sun has come out, and then blam, you know. It's not really something I would suggest people do. And, you know, people get addicted to it, which is another situation altogether. I mean, it can ruin your life. So, you know, I think that please try to leave these things up to clergy and, you know, well-seasoned professionals. But if anyone has any comments, I'd be happy to accept them. Also, I'd be happy to do a live stream when I'm finally able to figure that all out. And again, my email is singingfromthecrease@gmail.com, and my Twitter account is Creasesinger. You can leave a comment below. I'm looking for topics of conversation. You know, I have a wide variety of interests, but, you know, ice hockey is my favorite sport. I'm a student of the game. When I was a little kid, my goal was to own a National Hockey League franchise, so I still have that goal. I don't know, you know, I don't know how or if that's ever going to happen, but I still have that goal. And then anybody wants to know more about me, I do get spiritually attacked a lot. I know that that's a reality. And scientifically speaking, I mean, if some scientists would actually, you know, give me a chance and, you know, maybe help me out with some equipment and a little bit of a grant, I could prove it to them scientifically without any issue that spiritual attacks do happen. I know how to do that. And I know what equipment would be needed to do that. Just putting that out there. I'm always looking for a grant. I mean, I'm this close to homelessness, so the truthers, some of you, I think, are a little off track. I'm not trying to say that we don't have situations that are being hidden, because we do. I'm just saying I don't always agree. Anyone wants to talk about flat Earth, I don't particularly do that. I look at it, the Earth is the way the Earth is. It's not really my thing. I'm just glad I have a planet to live on. I have a place to live. I'm grateful for that, so I don't really question that too much. But if you do want to talk about flat Earth, I can suggest you go to the Emerald Dreamer YouTube channel. He does a lot of videos about these things, and he has chats about them, and, you know, if you contact him and email him, you can go around and roundabout, but he's done some videos and some live chats that have been recorded that you might want to check out. But I don't particularly get into the flat Earth thing. I know it says at Four Corners there are some compelling things in Scripture and the way that the Earth works if you're looking at it a certain way. However, you know, I leave that up to others to, you know, bring total and solid proof one way or the other. I mean, it could be triangular for all I know. So that will not be a topic discussed here. Otherwise, please introduce yourself to me, get in contact, and I promise you I will be getting better equipment. Love always wins. So do everything you can to keep that in your heart. Thanks for watching.